Gordon was the perfect partner for us, you know?
It's so I love what you've said there, Danny. And there's a guy who's got a jeans brand, big jeans brand over here, called Hyatt Denim. And he worked for Saatchi & Saatchi, big brand guy, built and sold a business to Timberland. But he basically taught me that you can boil your brand down to one word, or like for you guys, it's two words. So it's badass. Nike's just do it. That like one thing. And the more granular you get, everything becomes easier. So suddenly you haven't got some people in a fucking penthouse in New York who just don't look right. You've got, as you say, the grandma is getting in a Harley Davidson, or two lesbians who are getting a hold of each other, right? And then when the brand partnership comes along, who I think, other than Anthony Bourdain, Gordon Ramsay's the fucking biggest badass about, to be honest. I think he's an absolute, pardon the pun, but he's a G, right? But you've teed me up perfectly for us to explore that, right? Because I actually met him about 3 months ago at the GQ Food and Drink Awards in London, and I was like, oh, can I have a picture? He's like, and we had to wait for a bit. He's like, come here, you twats. And that's serious, like in a jokey way. And I was drinking an espresso martini, and he was like, oh, what's that? I was like, espresso martini. He goes, oh, fuck me, I wouldn't mind some of that. I was just like, but just what you see is what you get, right? Absolutely, that's what I picked up. But I'd love to know, and I know he was. You talked about this at length. I know he was already a huge fan of HEXCLAD. I know, is it Matt at Royal Hospital Road was already using it? Like all those chefs are already using your product. What I'd love to get into is now he's your business partner. Like, what has he taught you, almost like about life and business? Do you know what I mean? Because I think I'm really drawn to formidable people who are just can do so much. He can deal with, I mean, they say keeping three Michelin stars is the most amount of pressure ever. He's doing that. I know it's his team, right? But he's doing that, and he's got 2 stars in France. He's building he's working with you. Maybe if we could talk about it, like, if we go to that Zoom call you had with him, what was the initial game plan? Was it a discovery call? Was it just to get to know him, or where was your head at?
So briefly, yeah, Gordon was, the gentleman who was doing our social media, came to me and he's like, Gordon Ramsay's following us on Instagram. And I'm like, really? That's kind of cool. He goes, should I reach out? I'm like, yeah, of course. So he just sent a DM, and, it's not Gordon. His assistant, kind of said, oh, hi, yeah, yes. Gordon knows your cookware. He likes it. And we said, should we send out some more? Yeah, you could send some more pans. Somebody gave him one during the pandemic. Well, this was still mid-pandemic. But so he was, so we were like, okay, we'll send some more. And by the way, does Gordon have a cookware deal? I don't think so, but I'll let you know. Cut to like a few days later, I'm on a call with Gordon's business manager. And it's funny. He goes, listen, let me tell you about Gordon. When you get in business with Gordon, you get more than you bargained for. And I'm like, is that a promise or a threat? He's like, a little of both. So I'm like, but he goes, look, Gordon likes the product. If he likes the product, if you want, he'll do a commercial for you. You can hire him for a day and it'll cost you a lot of money. But he really likes your product. And I think there could be something deeper here. And I go, I do too. My gut felt it. It's like, it's weird. Like, I'm talking to the manager and like you, I kind of had like a man crush on Gordon a little bit because of the way he conducted himself. And I don't mean the fuck you making somebody cry. It was his commitment to his standards, which I related to. And that's really where a lot of Gordon's, like the stuff you see on TV, that's about people cutting corners. It's about people trying to send something out to the customer that's not up to snuff. That is not acceptable. And I'm the same way with that. So that I always related to Gordon. So a couple of phone calls with the manager, and we're like, well, we should probably, this seems like we're on the same page. Why don't we have a call with Gordon? And this is during the pandemic. We had, we scheduled a Zoom call. So for me, it was like, about 8:30 in the morning. And I'm sitting in my dining room, and I like at one of these mugs right there, I have coffee, and I'm like nervous. I'm gonna like talk to these guys, and this is a big deal. And I remember they're sitting over on the cupboard was a bottle of bourbon. So all of a sudden at 8 in the morning, I just grab the bottle. It's like 1 minute to the call spot start, and I pour a shot in my coffee and I put it down, and I'm just sipping it, just to calm my nerves. Uh, and then I log on, and as soon as I log on, like I'm looking at Gordon's giant face, like right in front of me. He's the only one on right now, and he's like, Danny, and I'm like, Gordon. And then his business manager and Jason joined, and the two of the poor guys didn't get a friggin' word in edgewise. Gordon and I yap, and I thought we were going to talk for like 20 minutes. We were out for almost an hour and a half, and Gordon's like sharing his vision. He goes, I want to put it in my restaurants. He's like, I can't do a Gordon impression very well.
You've done a great job, mate. Don't worry.
British accent very well. Danny, we're gonna cook risotto table side, and he's like, and he even said, he goes, listen, with me, he goes, if you're flexible, you get more than you bargain for, and that is true. And because he's so busy that sometimes, hey, we're gonna film this day. Hey, can we change it by 2 weeks because a shooting schedule got screwed up? And we do that, but then we get like amazing stuff out of them. Like Gordon didn't have to put us on all his TV shows. They use our products on Next Level Chef. They use our products on Hell's Kitchen. They use our products on Food Stars, on Uncharted. He just did that. Normally you pay for these placements. And, that Matt Abe does use our pans at restaurant Gordon Ramsay, and likes them. He just restays like, I need some more. Like, great, just send me a list. Happy to help. So, and that's, how we got Paul. He's like, we wanted to have this collection of really inspirational chefs, people to inspire the home chef and make people want to cook. And he told us about Paul, and I don't even know if I'd heard of him at that point, in the US. And then I had a call with him and fell in love with the guy. And I'm like,
legend. Yeah.
Yeah. And, we have a couple other chefs that I can't say right now that are really impressive globally that are part of the HEXCLAD family that we're going to be announcing in the next couple of months, but that are on that level. Like Gordon's kind of like, we call him, I didn't have a better term. So I was like, well, you guys are going to be kind of like the Avengers of cooking. And I remember, and I told I was actually at Gordon's house in Cornwall, and we're having a glass of wine, and I go, but Gordon, don't worry, you're Iron Man. And his wife goes, of course he is.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, so there's so much in that, and it's such a good story. And I think I appreciate you talking about having the bourbon before, because I was more like questions being like, I would be fucking shitting myself before a call with Gordon Ramsay. So it's quite reassuring. But so
well, you're afraid you're going to fuck it up for real.
Yeah. Oh God.
To do that.
Yeah. No, for sure. So he's like, Paul was doing a lot of work with him as well. And I was literally down in Padstow, actually down in Cornwall, about a month ago, eating at Paul's restaurant in, number 6. I don't know if you ever went there. Amazing.
I forget there yet.
Oh,
I know. I think I'm going to go in August.
It's unreal. You're in for a very, very good treat. Well, to be honest, all the food down in Cornwall is incredible. But I'd love to go into, maybe if we pick like a mindset, and I love going into like principles, so like almost like one sentences. So if we go through like a mindset principle that Gordon's taught you in business, like, or life, what would you say that's been?
I'm not going to give Gordon the credit that he taught it to me. He didn't really, but what it did was it reinforced that what I believed was right. And I was, here's this uber successful man. And really it was about, and I don't know if I can put it in the perfect word, but I can describe it. It's about loyalty and treating each person you come in contact with in professional settings with respect. And because I'll tell you, Gordon, this is no like no bullshit. He walks on, if we're going to film something, he goes up to every person on the set and introduces himself. And he's really good about knowing their names too. Maybe he doesn't remember them like the next day or a week later, but he goes through and he'll come up, Danny, Cole, like he says your name and he says hello to everybody, treats them with respect. And like even the thing with Paul, like Gordon's like, Paul worked for him. They lost touch for a few years, kind of reconnected. And we, when we were talking about wanting these, I don't want to even call them second tier. There's only one Gordon Ramsay. So then these amazing chefs, and he brought up Paul. He's like, he didn't have to bring Paul up. He didn't, but he's very, very loyal to people. And that to me, I'm very loyal. I'm loyal to a fault. And I think Gordon is too. And that to me is why like people stay with him for a long time.